Simon says, can we also check RSI divergence all the time? That's a question, right? As identified by that question mark there at the end. Can we also check RSI divergence all the time? Depends. We are humans. We do need to eat, shit, and sleep. However, right, if we're willing to let go of procreation for the human race and various other things, there may be a way that we could work out a rota system whereby we'd be able to achieve something which approximates looking at RSI divergence all of the time. Whether, strictly speaking, we'd actually be able to achieve that. I mean, it depends on what you say. If you're looking at it from a sort of collectivism type of point of view, and a societal approach to this, I think that absolutely we can. If you're asking this in a sort of more modern American individualistic type of way, when you say, do you mean we as individuals? Can we as individuals do that? I'd say we'd be hard pressed for anything extending over sort of 72 hours. At that point, you're probably really looking at needing to take a break. However, if you want to take a look at RSI divergence just now, then we can. Let me just remove your question from the screen, and then, of course, that other banner there as well. Ciao for now on that one, and take up the oscillators. Now, there's different ways of answering your question. Can we look at it all the time? Well, on all time frames, if that's what you're asking, absolutely we can. And you were asking specifically about RSI, which is this one here in the middle. If you want access to these, you can find a link to them in the description. You can get them for free. It's all good. And of course, you can support the channel if you have a soul. So it's your choice. Can we look for it? So what we're seeing here, for instance, is like this kind of idea, and if this is equal lows, then you're seeing that we got lower lows on the RSI between those 2 points. That would be a bit of the old bullish divergence, for instance, if you were. But you can also look for it all the time by saying, well, look at this high here was, of course, higher than our subsequent high. And what we're seeing on the RSI is that this high was lower than our subsequent high. So in terms of, can we find both bullish divergence, regular, visible, reversal, bullish divergence? At the same time, can we also find hidden continuation divergence, bearish divergence on the one chart at the one time? We also can, and that's a really interesting dynamic which you should always kind of look out for, and just over time you'll build up a good deal of experience by looking at it and saying, well, really, when you're looking at divergence, you're also having to look at market structure, right, and price action. And if you're combining these things together, then you can kind of qualify certain things in a certain way where you could say, well, look, we're still waiting for this one to play out overall, so long as this doesn't occur. In which case, of course, your risk profile changes. Like you were previously buying the risk that that the hidden bullish divergence wouldn't work out. Then, of course, when the hidden bullish divergence doesn't work out, then you're no longer buying that risk anymore. You're now buying the risk that some other thing is going to happen. So this is what I was talking about before. You're never just buying something as the asset itself and then selling the asset itself at a later price at a better price for you. That's not really what you're doing. That's symptomatic outcome, hopefully across time, when you're actually buying and selling the risk. Okay, and if you think about it that way, you see the whole world in a better light. Now, yes, you can look for it all the time, jumping up towards the 4-hour time frame and showing you then that, of course, this is a downward trend. I'll just hide the drawings there real quick so you can see lows, highs, lows, whatever, right? Downward trend, and they've got 2 lows here, lows. Okay, so we're not seeing the divergence in between these 2 lows right now. We're not really. But then you zoom on in a wee bit and you look and you go, well, are we being a bit harsh on the price by calling this a low when ultimately it's only just a yeah, no, we're not being harsh on it. That's just what that is. That's just how you look at it. And you say, well, look, no, it's not there. Okay, we would have wanted something better to happen. We're trying to kind of sugarcoat this by saying that it's got the potential for class B divergence. Now, it's true that it does, because you can kind of just sort of aggregate these things out enough by jumping up towards a different time frame here. For instance, no, you can't. The 12-hour doesn't. So that's the sort of thing that you can do, though. For instance, you can look to try and say, can I take this philosophy that's just not working, the paradigm's just broken here, and see if it's still functioning on a different time frame, perhaps working in some sort of, and we went through an example of it there now and showed that you can't. So just to answer your question, I hope I've done a thorough enough job on it. I've given you the sort of the comedic piss take answer first off, I suppose, but then also giving you the reality as well. I hope that helps somewhat. Who knows, right? I hope that helps. I read that I could potentially lower the streaming costs of things like Netflix and YouTube. Yo, nice one. Wouldn't that be awesome? But lower it for who? Gosh darn it. Are they going to lower it for us? Or are they going to lower it all for themselves? Yeah, going to have to read into their docs on that one and find out. Cheers for that comment, though. See everyone at 25K, says Patrick Pellegrino. What?